Why yes, I did intentionally put this Santa pillow behind me so this video looks a little bit more Christmassy. Thank you for asking. So it's that time of year again where I tell you all the things I liked in 2018, and if you're still needing a gift for someone this holiday season, maybe I can help inspire you a little bit. So yeah, this is gonna be Sheccamendations Part 3. The first section that I have is TV shows, or like Netflix shows, mostly, let's face it, it's 2018, I'm not watching stuff on TV. And the first show that I got really obsessed with, technically at the end of 2017, but also at the beginning of 2018, was BoJack Horseman. This is a Netflix original series. It's an adult cartoon, and I always thought adult cartoons were really stupid. To me, the humor is normally more like something that a 12-year-old boy would find funny than something that an adult woman would find funny. But yeah, BoJack Horseman is definitely different. The humor is a lot more my style. It's also really serious, surprisingly. They talk about stuff like anxiety and depression and stuff. And then, obviously, yeah, first thing that I'm mentioning on this list, we're gonna go straight for the jugular. There is an ace character, and I'm asexual, so to me, seeing that representation in TV shows is really, really awesome for me. He had this whole, like, discovering himself experience and, like, telling people about it, and it was all very, like, relatable for me personally. And then the new season came out a couple months ago, I think, and I watched through the whole new season in like literally less than 24 hours. It was problematic. The next show that I have is One Day at a Time. I think this is also a Netflix original, and I did not know this. My mom told me it's actually like a revamping of an older show. I haven't seen the original, so I can't really speak to the quality of the original, but I do really like the Netflix version. You know, it's a family sitcom, so it's a little bit silly. Sometimes the humor is like, I'm cringing, but normally it's pretty good. So it focuses on a single mom and her 2 kids, and they're living with the kid's grandma, the mom's mom. They're a Latino family, so they're dealing with a lot of those issues as well. Like, the abuela always has this, these cultural aspects that she's bringing into the show. The daughter's like, I remember there's an episode where the daughter's like, why didn't you teach me Spanish? The grandma applies for, like, citizenship in one episode, which is really cool. Like, there are a lot of things that, like, you don't see in a lot of, you know, white family sitcoms, which is nice. So it addresses race, it addresses single parenthood, and the daughter at one point in, I believe, the first season, mentions that she's gay. Then in season 2, this is definitely a spoiler, she starts dating a non-binary character, and although not all the characters respond to it in the best way, I think it's an accurate portrayal of how people react sometimes when you ask them to use they, them pronouns. And then after this kind of awkward conversation, everyone starts referring to them with the proper pronouns, and I think that's really nice. I just think it's a nice touch, and there are not enough non-binary characters in TV shows, and I think a family sitcom is one of the least expected areas, because, you know, there are still people who have this mentality that, like, family values don't include LGBT people. And I think including a really wholesome, sweet high school relationship really shows that, like, that can be a family value, you know? Acceptance is a family value. So I think that's really cool. Yay, inclusivity. Okay, now we're gonna talk about straight people. That's not even entirely true, because now Jane the Virgin isn't even super straight. But the next show that I have is Jane the Virgin, which sounds like something that I would hate. People always talked about the show, and I was like, oh, that sounds like a show that, like, really revolves around a woman's sex life, and I don't want to watch it. But it's really not that bad. 2 of my friends recommended it to me who were both really obsessed with the show, and I really liked it. I kind of describe it as like a white people telenovela. Because it has these like telenovela tropes, like, oh my goodness, they're twins, and she had a twin, and you didn't know about it, and he had a twin, and there's a lot of twins. There's so many twins. There's like people cheating on each other. The narrator, actually when you watch it on Netflix, maybe this could be considered stereotypical, but the Netflix subtitles always say Latin lover narrator. I mean, heck, Jane's dad is in a telenovela. Because it sounds like it would be a show that focuses on a woman trying to lose her virginity, but it's really not. Basically, Jane accidentally gets artificially inseminated and she's pregnant even though she has never slept with anyone. She's pregnant with a man's baby who isn't the man that she's dating. So it causes all this drama because she starts like wanting to form a relationship with the man who's going to be the father of the baby that she's carrying, but she also wants to maintain this relationship with the man that she is engaged to. So it turns into like, who will she pick? This guy or this guy? Which again, it just sounds like something I would hate, but I like it. It's just a fun show and it's well made. Yeah, they always think of a way to make it keep going. You know, you think everything's finally gonna get resolved and they're like, nope, this person's gonna die, or nope, this person has a twin, or whatever. So it's a really good show. It's highly entertaining. And the last TV show that I want to recommend is Dear White People. Again, a friend recommended this to me and it blew me away. Basically, it is about a girl in university who has a podcast. I guess it's a podcast or like a university radio program or something along those lines, called Dear White People. She is Black, so on her show she talks about the things that she experiences as a Black woman from day to day, from little microaggressions to more major things, and obviously this results in a lot of hate from white people, hate from Black people who think you're going about this the wrong way, you're being too hateful and you're pitting people against each other. She gets, respect from white people. People love her, people hate her, no matter what race they are. So I think it talks about a lot of really important issues, and then it has some relationship drama. And maybe I was burnt out on relationship drama from Jane the Virgin, but I got kind of bored of the relationship drama in this show. Sometimes I was like, can we go back to like the social themes, please? But yeah, I think it's a really good show and it talks about some really important stuff. Kind of along a similar line is movies. Okay, first movie that we have literally changed my life. I could not stop thinking about it for months, and that is Love, Simon. I'll talk more about Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda in my What I Read in 2018 video, which I'll put out in 2019. I really loved the book, obviously, so when the movie came out, I was like, I have to see this. So I went and saw it with Eric, and it was great. We both cried, and I was like, I have to tell all my friends about this. So I told a bunch of my friends about it, and then 4 of us went to see it again. I was seeing it for the second time, and we all cried again. And then I'm pretty sure some of them went to see it again. I could be wrong. But we gave a lot of money to Love, Simon. It's a coming-of-age story about a boy who's in high school and he's gay. He is in the closet. And through the power of online anonymity, he forms a friendship/relationship with this other guy who he knows is at his school, but they don't know who each other are. A student at the school sees Simon's emails to Blue, the guy that he's emailing, and he, threatens to out Simon. So it's really scary, like he's being blackmailed. There's a really powerful scene that involves coming out. So yeah, it's a really powerful movie, but it's also funny, and I think the biggest thing for me about Love, Simon is that it is a movie about sexuality and LGBT issues that is targeted at high school students, and we need more of that. Like I was saying earlier with One Day at a Time, we have to stop acting like every movie that involves gay people has to be rated R. I really like that there was a wholesome family movie about being gay. I also watched 8th Grade, and oh my goodness, can we talk about that actress, Elsie Fisher? She is so good. She was just a very authentic portrayal of 8th graders. Delightfully awkward, but really just trying to fit in. It also addresses a lot of themes that I think aren't addressed in a lot of like junior high school movies, and I think 8th grade me would have been a little bit freaked out by some of the stuff in this movie. I believe it's rated PG-13, but some of the stuff is pretty heavy for younger audiences. But it addresses some things like social anxiety, like sexual harassment, some pretty like heavy topics. It just kind of gives you like a window into this girl's life in her 8th grade year as she's preparing to go into high school. And then at the end it's like, okay, nothing changed that much, but like a little bit changed. And I feel like that's the message, right? Like, you aren't gonna like become this super amazing person just because you're starting a new chapter in your life. You know, you're gonna be similar to who you were originally, but you might make a couple improvements, and yeah, I like that. It's realistic. Another movie that we watched, Eric and I, was Get Out. He had already seen it, and I know this movie's a little bit old, but what can I say? I watched it for the first time this year, and I really liked it. Everyone knows what Get Out is. Basically, it's a horror movie, but it also has like social commentary and some pretty funny moments too. It focuses on a black guy who's in a relationship with a white chick, and they go to visit her parents at her parents' place. This is like the first time that he's met her parents, and creepy stuff starts happening, and you slowly start putting the pieces together, and I'm not going to give you any more information in case you haven't seen it, because yeah, I don't want you to put any of the pieces together too fast. But it's really good. There's some really good social stuff, some really interesting imagery. I really want to watch it again and see if I can figure out some of the more subtle imagery. But yeah, it's really good. We watched it on Halloween, so it was a nice little like spooky movie. And lastly, we saw Incredibles 2. This is a little bit of a lighter one, but I will admit that I loved Incredibles 2. I think it really lived up to the first one. Also, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was very, very into The Incredibles as a kid, so maybe I'm a little bit biased because of my nostalgia. This movie obviously focuses a little bit more on Elastigirl, and it's really nice. It talks a lot about, being a working mother and, like, having a positive work-life balance and these kind of things. I love, like, feminist themes in this movie, and I liked it a lot. The action was good, the soundtrack was good, the characters were still funny. I do wish we had seen a little bit more of Dash. I feel like Violet had her thing going on, Jack had his thing. Like, every character kind of had their thing going on except for Dash. Like, what's his thing? He has a math test. So that's my only beef with The Incredibles 2. I wish we had seen a little bit more Dash, but other than that, really good movie. Now I'm gonna move on to music. Pretty early on in the year, I got really into Cavetown. He's a YouTuber that I think I technically discovered a few years ago, but this year he put out a new album, Lemon Boy, and I love it. I love the actual song, Lemon Boy. I like Green, Big Bull in the Sky, Always Makes Me Cry. Oh, that rhymed! He just has a really nice voice, and he's very young. He came to Chicago, and I was so disappointed that I wasn't able to get tickets. But yeah, he just has a really nice voice. He plays some pretty, like, calm, chill music. Really, really into Cavetown this year. I also got into quite a few musicals this year. Dear Evan Hansen, I know it's kind of old news, but I do quite like Dear Evan Hansen. I haven't seen it. Most of my knowledge about it comes from the soundtrack. But basically what I've picked up on is there is a boy in high school who is really struggling. He feels like he doesn't fit in. His mom tells him to write these letters to himself. Dear Evan Hansen, you know, today's gonna be great, and here's why, and I'm trying to be optimistic. A kid in his school does end up killing himself, and they find this note addressed to Evan Hansen. Of course, it was actually written by Evan, but they all think that it was written by Connor, this kid who killed himself. So Evan gets caught up in this lie where everyone thinks that he's been in correspondence with this kid who he really doesn't know at all. So he has to start like faking these letters and emails that they sent back and forth and pretending that he was friends with this guy. He starts forming a relationship with the kid's family. It's a big dramatic lie, but the music is great. What's the song that always makes me cry? If I Could Tell Her. Oh my gosh. And obviously it talks about like suicide and bullying and fitting in and feeling like you have a place in the world. So It's pretty good. Another musical that I was really obsessed with was Be More Chill, and again, it takes place in a high school, so it's pretty focused on just wanting to fit in. The main character, Jeremy, really wants to fit in, and he gets this little device called a squip that's supposed to help teach him how to be cool. But for me, the squip is definitely kind of like a metaphor for anxiety, because it's telling him all the things that are wrong with him and how like he needs to fit in and how he like is basically useless if he's not like a popular kid. Yeah, there's just some really good metaphors, and the music is really good and like funky, but there's also like computery, like spacey, sci-fi sounding sound effects going on in the background, and yeah, it's just really good soundtrack. Michael in the Bathroom, 10 out of 10. I mean, Michael in the Bathroom will literally make you cry. Like, go watch an animatic right now. And then the last music thing that I want to talk about is They Might Be Giants. I liked They Might Be Giants a lot as a kid. Or not a kid, but like in high school. One of my friends shared that the sun is a mess of incandescent gas. What's it called? Why Does the Sun Shine? One of my friends introduced me to that Why Does the Sun Shine song on the band bus, and ever since then I was like, these guys have like pretty good music. But I didn't really listen to them that much until I started rewatching old Vlogbrothers videos, which I mentioned in my last Sheccamendations. Hank Green really likes They Might Be Giants, so he mentions them a lot. And at one point he mentioned their YouTube channel. And I was like, oh, that's cool that like they used to have a YouTube channel back in 2006, but they probably don't put anything on it anymore. And I went, and they still upload to it very, very frequently. So I was like, okay, cool. So I subscribed, and they started putting out songs from their new album, and I was like, whoa. These are really good, so I wound up buying their album. Some of my favorites from that album are Let's Get This Over With, By the Time You Get This, and McCafferty's Bib. That one's so weird, I can't figure out what it's about, but it's really entertaining to listen to and like theorize what the lyrics mean. I really like that their lyrics are pretty complex, and no two songs sound very similar. It's just really nice. It's kind of like a puzzle. You're trying to figure out like what each song means. Yeah, it's really good music. And then kind of on the topic of like ear stuff, I started listening to podcasts. Again, technically last year, but I got really into it this year because I had such a long bus ride. And the one that I really want to talk about is Welcome to Night Vale. Again, this is probably old news to a lot of you guys, but for me, I did not start listening to it until about a year ago. And at first I wasn't super into it. Like I was like, okay, I'll listen to like an episode here and there. But at one point, about like 40 episodes in, I started listening to like 2 episodes a day. Because in the summer, I would bike to campus, do some lesson planning for this class that I taught in the summer, and then bike back. And the bike was like exactly the amount of time that a Night Vale episode took. So I would listen to 2 episodes every day, one on the way there and one on the way back. And for some reason, just like binging it like that really got me hooked. But for those of you who don't know, Welcome to Night Vale is about a town where weird stuff happens all the time, and that's basically the whole thing. You're coming at it from the perspective of someone listening to this radio show, and the radio host presents things as if they're very normal. He'll be like, oh, now it's time to have a look at the community calendar. Remember that on Tuesday, all trees will become sentient and will try to eat you, so make sure you stay in your house on Tuesdays. And like, he presents it like it's normal information. So it's funny, it's a little bit creepy, and there's also a romantic plotline that I'm obsessed with. Sometimes it just takes a romantic plotline to hook me. But yeah, there's a cute little romance in there too, so that's nice. It's really good. It's entertaining. I also started listening to Dear Hank and John. Like I've mentioned before, I'm pretty into the Vlogbrothers, so listening to their podcast only made sense. On Dear Hank and John and Hank Green answer questions written in by their listeners. And sometimes they're silly questions, sometimes they're more thought-provoking, sometimes they're about different areas of study and you learn something new. At the end of each episode, they always do the news from Mars and AFC Wimbledon, which are like something that Hank really cares about and something that John really cares about. So I've learned a lot about space thanks to Hank. I often zone out during the AFC Wimbledon part, sorry John. But yeah, I always end up learning something, and I also end up laughing a lot, so yeah, it's nice to laugh and learn simultaneously. And the last section that I have is beauty. Something that I've been wanting to talk about for like 3 years, but every time I make this video, I forget to mention, is Sally Hansen nail polish. I have been getting really into painting my nails. Not evidenced right now because it's finals week, so sorry. These guys are really, really good. First off, like, I don't know if this will pick up on the camera, but the brush is nice and flat. See that? In like 2 strokes, you can paint your entire nail. Well, I have really small fingernails, but still. The nail polish itself is like thick enough that like really all you need is 1 layer. I normally do 2 just in case. Like, you can literally paint all your nails in like 5 minutes or something if you wanted to. Obviously, you would have to wait for them to dry, but they also dry fairly quickly compared to the cheaper nail polishes that I have. I don't normally invest in like the more expensive versions of things. I don't care about like name brands and stuff like that. But Sally Hansen nail polish, 10 out of 10, would recommend. Something else that I've been super into this year is this shirt, which is gonna show up terribly on camera. It's a collared shirt. I normally like to roll up the sleeves. You can see it has this little like button here, and I always tuck it in the front. My dad was talking the other day about why are girls constantly tucking in their shirts in the front but not the back these days, and I was like, I don't know, it's fashion, like it's just what people do. Yeah, I have these high-waisted jeans and I'll wear that shirt, high-waisted jeans and some nice shoes, and that's like a teacher outfit for me. Lately I've been like really into this like collar button-down look, which is like a little bit more masculine, but then I like tuck it in the front to kind of show off my waistline. I roll up the sleeves. I like button down a little bit farther than a man normally would. So basically I'm taking something that is maybe a little bit traditionally more masculine and making it feminine, and for some reason that is a fashion statement that I am obsessed with. So I've been wearing a lot of collared shirts like that one this year. That one is my favorite. The brand on this one is Studio Works, and it looks like it's a petite medium, so that I think that's another reason that I really like it, because it fits my body maybe a little bit better than some of the other things I own. I got this when a fancy store in our town called Bergner's was going out of business. It was very fancy. Like, they sold like Melania Trump clothes. So yeah, rich people stuff. But they had a sale where everything in the store was like 50 to 75% off. So I was able to get that shirt for like $10 or $12. So not bad, because the original price is probably in like the 30s. Further evidence of my obsession with slightly masculine but also kind of feminine things is this collared dress. It literally looks like what some people would call a boyfriend tee, but then it's a dress, and it's so cute. It looks good like with tights or without tights. It looks good with the sleeves rolled down or rolled up. And let me tell you, it is stretchy and soft and comfortable. I could wear this dress around the house and not be uncomfortable, which is not true with most dresses. It's by Derek Hart. I believe I got it at Ross. And yeah, it's just really cute. Again, it's like fairly professional and just the perfect amount of feminine for me, and I love it. Another clothing item that I have, which isn't as much of a like professional thing, but just like a cute, cozy, everyday thing, is this cardigan with a little braid thing in the back. When I work at the university bookstore, we have to wear like a short sleeve collared shirt, so it's really nice to have something to just kind of like slip on over that. And yeah, it's cute, it looks cozy, but it's not like too big to where it makes me look like very small, which I can be self-conscious about. And yeah, I just like the little braid in the back. It's simple, but it has this cute little touch on the back of it. And the brand is Pink Rose. And honestly, I don't remember where I got it. Maybe Ross? Probably Ross. And the last clothing slash beauty item that I have are these shoes. They're suede, kind of lace-up boots, and they're about ankle length. I wanted something more professional than what I normally wear every day, which is these like quote-unquote combat boots. These are okay. but they do look a little bit more like everyday shoes to me. It's hard to explain, but these just look a little bit more professional to me. They're still pretty casual, but I think for a TA, they're good. Kind of like, you can wear them to class without looking like weird, but you can also wear them to teach without looking unprofessional. So yeah, I really liked these. The brand is Rock and Candy, and again, I don't remember where I got them. I think maybe Ross. I really need to pay more attention to where I shop. So yeah, that was the last favorite that I had. So thank you for watching. I don't know if any of these will make good Christmas gifts for anyone that you care about, but they are things that I enjoyed this year. Let me know in the comments what you've been enjoying in 2018, because I still need to buy some people presents too. And we'll see you guys probably next year, maybe before then, but probably next year, with some books that I read. Thank you for watching, and I'm gonna go work on a final exam. Super fun. See ya.